Well, in response to Iran's aerial attack on Israel this week, Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen announced this afternoon the United States plans to impose new sanctions on Iran, likely in the form of further restrictions on oil exports. This comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his war cabinet held its third meeting today to discuss and plan Israel's response to the attack. What can we expect in the coming days? And will President Biden's decision to inform the world that the U.S. will not participate in any counterattack further embolden Iran? Joining me now to discuss this and much more is Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. He joins us by phone. Senator Graham, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you for having me.
So your thoughts on the White House making sure the world knows that the Biden administration will not support an Israeli counterattack to the Iranian attack that took place over the weekend?
Well, I think the Biden approach to foreign policy in general has just been a disaster. But this may be the worst example yet. Telling Iran that Israel's on its own when it comes to protecting Israel after being hit with 300 drones and ballistic missiles coming from Iran toward Israel just emboldens the Iranians, it emboldens Hezbollah, it emboldens Hamas. It is the dumbest thing I've heard any president say regarding the Mideast conflict. Telling the Ayatollah, you just attacked Israel with 300 weapons, and Israel's going to hit you back, but they'll be doing it without us, just invites more aggression.
So let me ask you this question, Senator Graham, for those who would say, look, we just need to stay out of all this business. We can't be the world's policeman. Doesn't this approach endanger America?
Well, what they need to do, okay, that's a really good question. Rocket Man in North Korea. I don't think he's going to attack America tomorrow. He's kind of a thug, a mafia guy. Putin's crazy, but I don't think he's going to attack America tomorrow. China is a bad actor. What's the difference between the Ayatollah and everybody I've just talked about? The Ayatollah is a religious Nazi. Here's what people don't understand. If the Ayatollah had a nuclear weapon, he would use it in the name of Allah. His goal is to destroy the Jewish state, to purify Islam, and come after the infidels like us. Hitler wrote a book about what he was going to do to the Jews and others. Nobody believed it. The Ayatollah and his henchmen talk every day about the destruction of the Jewish state. So to those Americans who believe this doesn't matter to you, I promise you, if Israel is destroyed by the Ayatollah and his henchmen, you're on their list. This idea of sitting on the sidelines and watching the only democracy that practices religious tolerance to be wiped out by a theocracy who has as its goal to purify the world's religion is insane. Have you learned nothing from the 30s?
Well,
so
let's talk about
this fight because they put us in this fight.
Let me ask you that question. Unfortunately, our schools today don't teach history very well, but most of our audience was in school when history was taught. Doesn't history provide us with sufficient evidence that appeasement doesn't result in peace, but it only communicates weakness?
Well, let me tell you about history. You've been to Israel. You were there a few weeks ago. I've been to the Holocaust Museum. I have been to all the places throughout the world where the Jews were slaughtered. Here's what history tells the Jewish people. Take seriously when somebody wants to kill all the Jews. So Israel is not going to willingly go into the gas chambers again. They're a state with a very good military. They're a democracy. They have a capitalist economy. They will fight to the last Jew to protect the Jewish people from another slaughter. So history tells Israel when somebody threatens to kill all the Jews, take them seriously. This is a religious war. The reason we're in a conflict with Iran is that they're a religious theocracy who is taught through their faith to purify Islam, that means Saudi Arabia, to get rid of Sunni Islam, destroy the Jews and the Jewish state, and come after us. That's the enemy we're facing. History tells us when Hitler could have been stopped 10 times, nobody really believed he wanted to have a master race. He did. You could have stopped him early on. People wrote off what he was saying. The Ayatollah, Tony, wants a master religion. The Nazis wanted a master race. the Jews are not going to let this happen twice, and I'm with our friends in Israel.
So you're saying that the best way to contain this global threat is to stand with our ally Israel, who they have the capability, they certainly have the determination, and they understand the reality, is to stand with them and let them strike back and eventually, I hope, defeat this evil.
I want this evil to go away. I want the Iranian people to know prosperity and peace. The religious theocracy in Iran is built around world dominance of faith. They literally believe that they're the only true keepers of the faith, that there's no place for Jews, there's no place for Christians or Sunni Muslims in the world they want to create. So the best way to keep America safe from radical Islam coming back to our shores is to fight it over there before it gets here.
Yeah.
And if you throw Israel over, they're coming after you next. So the best thing we can do to protect America is to stand with them as they face a religious Nazi in the form of the Ayatollah. And here's what I think. Iran, if they believed America would be with Israel, that we would wipe them off the map if they tried to destroy the Jewish state, they would think twice.
Would this have happened if Donald Trump were president?
No. Donald Trump, when he killed Soleimani, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, set back the ambitions of the Ayatollah and his regime by decades. He cut off their money, the oil revenue. He isolated them from the world economy, and we were moving forward. The Arabs, through the Abraham Accord, recognized Israel. The Arabs only respond to strong leadership. So what's happened since Trump left? They went back into the Iranian nuclear agreement. Biden did. They gave them billions of dollars to the Ayatollah. He didn't build, mosques with it. He didn't build hospitals. He's built a new military with it. So Biden has undercut everything Trump did. But no, the answer to your question is the Ayatollah and Hamas and Hezbollah would not have attacked Israel if Donald Trump were president, because they know what he was capable of doing. He took down Soleimani, and that was the biggest decision he made in the Mideast.
So strength does bring about peace.
Strength is the only way to be safe. The only thing the Ayatollah and the thugs of the world appreciate is strength. They're not normal people. Quit treating the Ayatollah and his regime as normal. They're not normal. The whole reason they're live is to enact a religious agenda that compels them through their faith to destroy the Jews, Christians.
This is not new. Why does Biden and his team not? Why does President Biden and his team not get it? Why do they not get this?
They don't believe it. It's the same reason that Chamberlain and the world appeased Hitler. They didn't think anybody could be that warped to literally want to kill all the Jews and create a master race. They didn't believe it. That was just too crazy to believe. You know what? They should have believed it. But this is a religious Nazi, and he has marching orders from Allah to do the things I'm talking about. The missing imam, the 10th imam, went missing 1,000 years ago. This guy's going to pop up out of the well to help Iran under their end times faith, but he has to have enough chaos in the world for him to come out of the well. They're trying to get that guy out of the well. Right. These people believe in a religious doctrine that requires them to destroy the Jewish people, just like Hitler believed that Jews were an inferior race. And we're not going to let this happen again. Me and you're not, and Israel's not. Biden is in denial.
Right.
He's delusional about the enemies Israel faces.
Senator, just 15 seconds, but you've been around a while. When you look at the volatility of the world on a scale to 1 to 10, where are we right now?
On 11, because the biggest fear I have is radical Islam having a weapon of mass destruction. They will use it, and Iran is close to it because we've allowed them to get stronger left.
And this is probably the best opportunity to stop that.
You better stop them now before you regret it later.
All right, Senator Lindsey Graham, always great to talk with you. I do appreciate your insights and understanding when it comes to foreign policy.